Today we are talking about adoption. October is celebrated as the World Adoption Awareness Month. Yes, there is such a thing as World Adoption Awareness Month. Some people say it's on the 19th of October, some celebrate it on the 21st. Some even have an entire week in different regions of the world just to create awareness and, throw more light on what adoption is, the process involved, and how it is encouraged world over. In different areas of the world, we have different methods of adopting a child. Some people, you have to go through the Ministry of Social Welfare, some people through child services, some through human law, whatever, but there are different ways in different regions. But there is one thing that these various regions agree on. We want children to be adopted. Why is adoption necessary? How does it come about? Who is adoption for? These and many more are the things we'll be talking about in today's show. So sit back and enjoy. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So today we said we are talking about adoption because we are commemorating October as the World Adoption Awareness Month. Remember, the Fertility Talkshow is brought to you by the Love Foundation. Love Foundation is a fertility support organization with its headquarters in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. And we are focused on fertility awareness, education, and support. And this is one of the channels by which we do just that. Today on our show, we have a wonderful guest in the person of Mrs. Josephine Ojodu. Yes, Mrs. Josephine Ojodu is an educationalist. She's a teacher in one of the top schools here in Port Harcourt, and she has gracefully agreed to join us on today's edition to talk around this topic and to share her own experience with us. So, Mrs. Josephine, you're welcome, and we thank you very much for being part of this.
Thank you very much.
So, we have said that October is World Adoption Month. Adoption, what is adoption? Let's start with that, the definition. So, adoption is actually a process whereby a child is taken up by intending parents. In this situation, intending parents are not the biological parents of the child. So they take up this child under legal laws. You can see I slowed down that part because that part is very, very important. It means that somebody can take up a child to live with them without it being adoption. And of course, in Africa, we see that happening a lot. We have people that just live with us. Sometimes they live as help. Sometimes they live as relatives, but that situation is not necessarily adoption. So it becomes adoption where there is a legal process in place. So somebody just decides to train the brother's child, those children or that child is not your child, not recognized by the law, and I'm sure it's not even recognized in tradition. So until a child is legally taken up by intending parents, that child is not an adopted child. Why is it important for this to be done legally? This is important so that the intending parents, mark the words, intending parents, the intending parents will know their roles and responsibilities towards that child, and then the child will also know his or her roles and responsibilities depending on the age of the child, so that that mutual relationship is established. The parents know what they are supposed to do for the child. They know the role that that child is playing in their life. They know that that child becomes their child. It is called a legal child. He or she is called a legal child, but the child has all the rights and privileges of a biological child. As a matter of fact, once an adoption process is completed, the child becomes the legitimate, let me use the word, the legitimate child of the intending parents. And everything that child is supposed to have, benefit, enjoy, the child has the right to enjoy all of that. It's important to note this because a lot of times people adopt children in quotes, and I use the word in quote because they haven't done it legally. So they adopt children and that legal part is not established. Once that happens, situations can come up in the future where the child's rights are in contention. There has been several stories of a child adopted by a family. After some time, the father dies, and then the father's relatives come to contend for the rights of that child. They said the child is not their brother's child. They are not accepting the child and all of that. And if the case is taken up legally, if they go to court and say, we don't know this child, we don't know where this child came from, the child might have lived with them for 10 years, 20 years, or thereabouts. And they can deny the paternity of that child, saying they do not know the child. What will solve that case legally is if there is an adoption document. Where there is no documentation, that child loses all his or her right as a legal or legitimate child of that father or of the parents. So that is why we are taking out time to talk about this, to educate people on the right things to do, the right process to follow, so that anyone who is interested in adopting a child will know that no matter how long it takes, do the right thing for the sake of the future. So that's end my preambles. Let me get to my guest. So welcome again, Mrs. Josephine. We were interested in talking with you because you are somebody who has gone through the adoption process here in Rivers State, Nigeria. And we just wanted, a real face to the topic and then, share your experience with our viewers and let them know or get a feel from you what it's like to be an adoptive parent. So in this situation now, you're no longer an intending parent. You're now an adoptive parent. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But let's just talk around it. How was the process like for you? What did the process entail? How would you describe it? A lot of times when people think of adoption, they think of a very cumbersome, stressful, very difficult process that is almost impossible. Let us hear from somebody who has, worn those shoes. What was it like for you personally?
First of all, thank you very much for giving me this privilege.
Thank you.
My advice to my own people is that they should not lose hope. Another thing that is that you should not even be scared. You should not be scared. Just do it in a rightful way. Okay. If you do it in a rightful way, there is no problem. Okay. First of all, I stated my own way to human rights. Okay. Then, after everything, through the help of Love Foundation also, it makes it so easier with me. Okay. Then, after everything, we went for legal of it. They process my papers. Today, I have my papers. Okay. So it's not too difficult. Okay. It's just for you to come out full. Don't do it. Maybe you are doing it closing your hands, or maybe you are doing it in some other way. Okay. Just be straightforward. Okay. Do it in the right way. You'll get what you want. And you'll be happy the way I am happy today.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That part is interesting. So yes, coming out, first of all, and I think that's part of the problem. People want to hide. People don't want people to even know that they're adopting. So you see them hiding, doing shady things, and people take advantage of them. We've had so many funny stories. There was this case of a lady. She came all the way from outside the country to adopt. Unfortunately, she was interested in doing the right thing because, abroad, they believe in process and, the law and all that. But her family members here in Nigeria told her not to worry, they will handle everything. And they, unfortunately, went to do shady things. They told her to cover, they lied, they just did some very funny, shady things. And of course, getting the child is not a problem. They got a child and handed over to the woman. I think 7 years, the woman came, took her child, and, somehow got papers for the child and traveled back to her base with the child. 7 years down the line, she came back to Nigeria for whatever, just to see her family members again, So she came back to Nigeria and she went to the village with the child. Everybody was happy and all that. And one man came from God knows where and said, this child is my child, I want my child. The woman was so embarrassed. She didn't even know what to do. She turned to the family members and they were like, oh, they will sort it out, they will sort it out. Of course, they called the guy aside to talk to him. No, now, I thought we have settled this matter. The guy said he doesn't know the matter they settled with. That he wasn't even aware that this child was given to somebody, blah, blah, blah. He knows the girl that got pregnant. Seeing this child is his carbon copy when he was a child. So he knows this child is his child, you know? And long story short, they said, okay, how do we end this matter? How do we solve this problem? And the guy demanded a whooping 10 million naira. A whooping 10 million naira, and they had to pay.
Hell.
Mrs. Josephine, did you spend up to 10 million?
I did not. I did not. That's why it's good for you to do it in a right way.
So they had to pay that money, and the woman just bundled her child and said she will never come back to Nigeria again. Unfortunately, the family loses her because they will not have their sister come around. Of course, when she comes, you can imagine all the blessings she will come with. So that's why it's essential to know and do the right thing. So like you said, coming out, you know, openly saying, I want to go through this process. I want to adopt. How do I go about it? Like you said, you went through the welfare ministry. The whole process was done. Of course, we Love Foundation played a vital role in providing legal officers, lawyers that assisted her through the process. Family court was involved. All of that was done, and the document finally given. It wasn't a very short process, was it? To be truthful, it wasn't a short process. But at the end of the day, it was worth it. It took some time, yes, as it normally would.
It's true.
Okay, but today you have your papers, you have your documents, you can travel anywhere in the world and be sure that your baby is your baby. That's great. I'm very excited about about something you said. You said so that they will be happy the way you are happy now. We need to explore that, but before we get into that, let's take a break and get some messages. And we are back. Thank you for joining us. If you are just joining in, this is the Fertility Talk Show, and today we are talking about adoption. Why are we talking about adoption? We are talking about adoption because October is Adoption Awareness Month, and with me today in the studio is a very distinguished guest, Mrs. Josephine Ojodu, who is an adoptive parent. She went through the process and she's here to share her story and her experience with us. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
And we'll continue our discussion. So before we took the break, we were talking about your own personal experience. You said you are a very happy mother, you are a fulfilled mother. Just how old is your child now?
She is 2 years plus.
She's 2 years plus now. So just take us down these 2 years. How has it been? What has the experience been like for you?
It has been a good experience. Okay. Now, today, I am called a mother. Because other years, before I had her, I know what people have said. But I know that my God can never do what? Fail me. Since I got her, some people has been coming to me. Josephine, how did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? I told them how I did it. It's very, very easy. Okay. Though for you to process the papers, it will just take a little time, just for you to exercise patience. My baby, I started my baby from day old, and now she's 2 years plus, and she's growing active, very intelligent girl. Though I did not come out with her, I would have done that. So I'm very, very fulfilled. I'm very, very fulfilled. So I urge each and every one of you to have that faith, to have that hope. Don't be discouraged. Some people will tell you, don't go and adopt. Don't do this, don't do that. My dear, do it. It's still your own child. If you see this baby now today, you will think that it's my own biological child because she's just my resemblance.
Okay. Now, let's even pause there because we get a lot of questions from people and they are like, how do I adopt a child? The child will not resemble me. The child will not even have many of my character. The child will not have any trait from my family. And my family gene is very strong. Anybody that sees the child will know that it's not my child. I have seen your baby. And even me, even myself, I am in awe at the resemblance. It's amazing. And it's not just you. Funny enough, for many of the couples that we have helped to go through their process, we see the children eventually beginning to look like the parents. It is called the law of reflection. It's a law in science. It's called the law of reflection. It is somewhere even in the Bible. I don't even want to go into all of that, but there is something like the law of reflection. A child that you look at every day, you talk to every day, you speak with, you train. Somehow, genes begin to align. Yes. And resemblance begins to. If you see this child I'm talking about, I wish she was here. She is like the spitting image of this woman, and there is nobody who sees her that would be in any doubt that she conceived this child and gave birth.
People that are far from me,
yes,
don't know that I adopted.
I'm telling you, people who see her on the road be like, ah, madam, this is your pikin, you commit time, exactly like that.
Exactly.
And the resemblance is very, very consoling. And I believe it's one of the reasons why you feel that fulfillment and joy as well. So it's interesting that that's happened. Did you do any special thing for that child to resemble?
There's no special thing.
Apart from just loving that child. And that's the truth. When you lavish that love on little children like that, the likelihood of that resemblance takes place.
Even the bond.
Exactly.
For her to go to another place or for another person to carry her,
it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
So there is really no difference from a child that you bettered, right? That bond, there's no difference in the bonding. We have talked about the resemblance, the love is there. So there is really no physical difference, okay? Aside from the protruded tummy and having to push. Apart from that, there's really no difference. So people are encouraged to, want to give adoption a shot. But why do you think people are skeptical about adoption as a person or from your experience? What do you think? I'm sure before you decided, you must have heard one or two things. Maybe you even had one or two misgivings, but you just encourage yourself. Why do you think in this part of the world, people are very skeptical about adoption?
I know. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, some of them will say that people, they do hear outside talk.
Okay.
People will talk. People will talk. After all, it's not your child. This and that. Some people will say, it's my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law will not support me about that.
Okay.
My dear, it's not like that. Before you even step out for you to start doing it, you have to discuss with them.
Okay.
When you discuss with them, there is no how they will not accept it.
Okay.
There is no how they will not accept. They will accept it. Okay. So what is making me think that because of what people will say, you understand me? That was the reason why some of them
are discouraged.
So discouraged.
So the long and short is what people will say, because I don't think there's any other thing that affects an adopted child. Or are there cultural challenges? Are there areas where people that accept adopted children? I don't think there is any community in Nigeria where there is a taboo against adopted children. I think it's still just a sentiment issue. Oh, people will talk. Oh, people will feel somehow and all that. And it makes some people in this part of the world adopt secretly. They go through the process, they do their papers, but they don't let family members know about it. Well, whatever works for you, what our message is that you do the right thing. Get all your documents just because of tomorrow. Even that one you think you're hiding for people not to know. If you get your papers, whatever happens tomorrow, your child is safe and you are also safe. Safe legally, because yes, we know that human trafficking, child trafficking is a serious offense in Nigeria. It's a serious offense in Nigeria. And in this, our line of work, we see a lot of funny things. Somebody called me one day. I said, doctor, please, there's one woman. that just gave birth. She said she wants to sell her child. Do you have anybody? I said, hey, okay. Has she gone to welfare? Has she gone to report to the welfare that she cannot take care of the child?
Right.
Because it's possible, yes?
Yes.
It's possible that somebody has a child. As a matter of fact, that is how adoption children come up. Somebody cannot take care of the child. And rather than expose that child to a terrible life, they decide to give to another family where the child will be loved and cared for. Now that adoption can be open or closed. Open meaning that the birth parents know who they are giving the child to. Or it can be closed, whereby the birth parent doesn't know who takes up the child. We prefer that because of human factor, you know, for tomorrow's sake. And that's how Love Foundation is a go-between between the two parties for people who want closed adoption. So they do that, and every other thing is legalized, and the child is in a place where the child can have a future and fulfill their destiny. So apart from cultural sentiments, not necessarily taboo, adoption has been on forever. All of us are adopted children of God. Let me start with that. You know, but adoption has been there for as long as the human race, if I dare to say, okay, people have had adopted children, you know, one way or the other, and they've lived with those children happily. Children have been able to inherit properties even where they are adopted and things like that. So it's just a thing of the mindset. So number one, people talking, well, it depends on what you want to listen to. If you're not interested in what people are saying, you can go ahead, do the right thing, and be sure that you have your child protected against naysayers in the future. You have your documents so that anywhere you want to go to in the world, tomorrow, time changes. You might get an opportunity to travel, even if a DNA test is to be done and it is discovered that, oh, this not, you don't even need to get to that point. You just say, oh, this one is adopted, see my papers. Okay, so that's that. And then apart from those sentiments, you can go ahead, have your child, get all the fulfillment that you need or that you would get even from a biological child. Okay, so we'll take the last point now. What is your own advice to people? I know you've mentioned encouragement, one or two sentences, but in summation, what would you encourage people who have been waiting? You know, there's this sentiment that, oh, if I adopt, that means I have given up. That means maybe I don't believe God again, that God will still do it, and things like that. Those kind of sentiments and sentences, what do you have to say to such things? And what do you have to say generally to waiting parents?
Thank you very much. I'm encouraging each and every one of us, those parents that are waiting, that you should not lose hope. You should not lose hope. And don't say that, oh, your end has come. No, 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 no. Just put your trust in God. And when you are going for this adoption, pray, talk to God. There's no God, nothing that God cannot do. I prayed, I seek the face of God, and God answered me, and He gave me my own. Just trust in God. Adoption is the next option I am also suggesting. Okay. I encourage each and every one of you, do not listen to side talk. Side talk will do what? Will make you to do what you are not supposed to do. Because if I had listened to side talk, the happy woman I am today, I won't have been.
She's really happy. I saw her today and I'm like, wow, she looks so much younger. So I know how we started this journey. So I know what I'm saying.
The depression and all the
younger, fresh, wanted to kill me. Really, really, really. So that's a very significant point. Okay.
So I'm encouraging you all. There is no fear there. Just do it in a right way. You will get it. You will get it. Do not be discouraged. I'm encouraging you all. Do not be discouraged. Because after my own, I know many people. How many people that have come to me because my own open their eyes. Because they are thinking, oh, so this adoption. But after my own, and they are seeing my own child, it didn't open their eyes. I was even surprised because I don't know that most people coming to me, they're also depressed the way I am. They are still coming to me. How did you do it? And I directed them. And today, most of them, they are happy. So do not be discouraged. I encourage you. Step out. You will be fulfilled the way I am fulfilled today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Josephine. We are just elated that you have come out to share your story and then to encourage our viewers. You have heard it all from her. Do not be afraid. Step out. Do not listen to what people have to say. Make the decision yourself. Yes, it's not something that somebody will force you into. Definitely.
And also pray. Listen
and
to God.
pray. Talk to God about this and let God lead you. And if God is leading you towards that, yes, you may say that God promised you that you'll be a happy mother of children. Well, who says you can't be a happy mother? You
Dr.
see,
Sorry, I want to also tell them something. This adoption will also bring blessing to you, because if you have it, because I've seen one of my friends, immediately the adopted child came in, she took him. Wow. And I believe that my own will also be like that. My own will also be like that. So do not be discouraged.
Okay.
Through this adoptive child, you have your own.
Okay.
You have your own.
So you have heard all the encouragements that you need. If ever adoption has crossed your mind, we are asking you today, do not be encouraged. Step out, take a bold step of faith, make inquiries, find out. It's not an automatic thing. You don't have to do it today, but you can start making inquiries, start asking questions, seek the right help, do it the right way. Don't get caught up in anything illegal or shady or that will land you in trouble at the end of the day or cause you more pain than the pain you already experienced by waiting. God knows best. If adoption is presented to you and in your spirit you feel convinced to do it, go ahead. We encourage you to go ahead and do it. And the promise is that you can still be a fulfilled, happy, joyful parent. And who knows, your doors can even open up for even your own children, your own birth children, biological children to come. But our encouragement is when you do get your own biological children, do not forget the love you have for your adopted child. I've seen different cases, professionals, colleagues who adopted a child and went on to have 3 of their own, 4 of their own. And the siblings don't even know that first one is an adopted child. Yes. The first child looks like the parent and has their character and everything. And is now the second mother to the other ones that came much later. You know, I have a very close colleague and friend who had stayed years, depressed, frustrated, just decided to adopt. She adopted, stayed almost another 6 years before her own children started coming. And when they came, the other 3 that came, that first one now is like their mother. You know, it's like 6 or 8 years before her own came. And she's like their mother now. This woman can travel, enjoying her life. There's somebody in the house taking care of the other ones. So be encouraged and know that adoption can be an option. Again, this program is brought to you by the Love Foundation, which is a fertility support organization based in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, with expressions across Lagos, Abuja, and Enugu State. You can reach us on our WhatsApp page on 081 75629 Just send us a message and we will reply as quickly as possible. Or you can follow us on all our social media handles at Love Foundation on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, you are watching us on YouTube. You can visit our website at www.lovefoundationg.com. Just take a look at what we are doing. You want to be part of this event, you want to be part of this program, you want to come on air to talk about your own experience or your story, just reach out to us through any of these platforms and we will be glad to have you here. You want to sponsor this program, you want to advertise your business or your trade on this program, reach out to us through any of these platforms that we have mentioned and we will be glad to work with you. Until we bring you another interesting topic next month, stay blessed and keep learning to teach others. Bye-bye.